traders fully priced quarter point Fed hike by the end of 2026. So again, traders fully priced quarter point Fed hike by the end of 2026.
Good morning, good morning. We traded right up to our NQ target that we were looking for. Traded up into our VPOC up here at 715, 720. Rotating down a bit now, retracing our move. Potential gap fill if we don't hold this 525, 550 area on NQ. We're really watching to see if the bid is going to be able to maintain this low. Keeping an eye on Russell to lead us down. Watching as we push into 63 to 60. Start PVZ here in our 30-second opening range. Let's watch to see if we're able to hold this. This will be really important to let us know if we're going to go for this or not. Alright, there it is. This is day open on RTY, and we're looking to see if we find our bid here. We need to get over this 64 on Russell for anything real, or we'll have one more leg down off of a failure here. This is NQ into PVZ value at our 599. Needs to be able to push above this, and then we can do one more leg up to 640. 650. If not, we'll reject here, and then we'll continue down if Russell fails and everything else fails as well to get back into value. Into our edge here on NQ, watching to see how we react. This is going to be really important. Russell into our ORM to ORL for a rejection of our orange. The idea here is that we pretty clearly need to get over like 65. We want to see these buyers here hold us, that we bounce this higher low here. We really need to get over this and then rotate up, or this is going to act as our resistance, and then we're going to take out these lows and go for it, right? Very important that we are able to maintain this guy and then push above this POC shift here, or again heading down seems very likely. Watching this I don't know, 84 to 79 area. On ES. So we push into that. Got this liquidity here that I'm very curious about. But we want to just watch to see if NQ is going to be able to maintain this low wick, or get this rotation down, like I said. We just watch Russell into 59s. Well, I think where we need so far. On the open of our new 15s, holding POC to previous candles, pushing into our areas now. Let's see what happens as ES comes into this with Russell. I'm hoping for a retest here on Russell, and then we'll look to see if we can actually get in this. I'd love to see this retest on NQ with RTY rejecting this edge, but understand this is our ES target into our 79s. Got to get over 84s for this to have any upside potential, or we'll continue to rotate down. watching 84s now from our 79 bounce. And then this will be either our reoffer or our failure, and then trap below on NQ and RTY, of course. Watching our reactions here. Watching to see if buyers now sustain this. Again, good pop from our 79s, and now watching to see if 84s hold supportive for a higher low with Russell back into our 30-second opening range, and NQ testing our value edge. Let's see if we can find this higher bid. As we push into this 90-91, this is your first risk off if you're playing off this higher low, or if you're just already in from 79. It's up to you. We'll watch to see if we can get back into these 30-second opening ranges here. This is ES into our ORL. That's my first risk off here on ES from our 79 to 84. As we push into our 30-second opening range, we'll watch to see how we interact here. RTY, full movement from our trap below, and now rotating back up into VWAP. The only thing that we have left here is if RTY can hold and then bid up into our 69s. If not, right, we're just going to trap above as well and then just rotate this again. This is NQ into our pivot. Big pivot here with our POC shift on the daily. Same thing as before, with this trapped liquidity, like we talked about off that failure. We now have a look potential if we can flip this for continuation up. If not, we're just going to rotate this right back down again. So let's see what they do. Holding our POC shift here, should head up to our 600, so I would assume on NQ, if we can hold this, with Russell holding our edge high. I have one runner left on ES, so we push into our 30-second opening range and our 94 to 97. That's our offer until we flip it. I mean, this is a pretty mid trade so far. There'll be more. This is either just the start or it'll be a nothing burger where we just chop our 30-second opening range for 2 hours. But I'd like to be able to see this higher low bid if we're going to flip. Well, we've just got our POC shift on ES, and then if Russell can do this flip with this trap below, we're in a pretty good spot. We just want to see this secondary bids try to step in here for this rotation up. Again, just watch your 590, 600 area for your PT on NQ as we push into this guy. That's a great first target for NQ. I don't know how strong our reaction is going to be from that point, but they're trying to take in some size here. Like I said, just a good first risk off as we push into this guy. If we can flip it like we did on Russell here, we'll be in a great spot, but got to see it first. So just take off a little as we push into the wick high of this 15-minute candle. I am out half here on NQ from our recovery of our 30-second opening range low at 550. And now let's see where we go.
Fed's Waller says if expectations over 2, 3 or 4 years rise, that's a problem for me. Fed's Waller says typically prefer market-based measures of inflation expectations.
What's up, Surf? Good hold so far at our highs. Trying to flip.
Fed's Waller says if shorter run expectations go up, that's alarming. Might have to take steps then.
Lot of supply up here. This is RTY into our first target. ES into target as well. Here into our 30-second opening range high. We need to watch to see how we interact here now. Can we flip this? Can we bid? If so, then NQ should head up to our POC shift up here up at 40 to 50. If we can get this hold. For ES, right, we have our target as well being set for us off of PVC and our POC shift. If we can flip this, we'll get one more leg up. Head up into this. But I think we're going to have a little bit more work on our hands where we'll have to come down into this and then maybe go. Retest this shift. That's what I'm thinking.
Fed's Waller says rising bond yields could help tamp inflation. And Waller says there is no way we can go back to the small balance sheet of 2008. It's currently Waller commenting in a Q&A in Frankfurt. And Waller says we want to run ample reserves type system. And Waller just further saying don't want to go to a scarce reserve system.
Good hold so far from our 590, following pathing, pushing up into our first target here at 620. Full target would be, again, just 650 into those highs. Yes, still needs to recover this 98 for anything more, and then we can start to rotate up into that like 506 liquidity. Watch for RTY to find that low. Good hold, good push. Halfway there on NQ.
Two-year US Treasury yield hit session high, last at 4.135%. Shares of Qualcomm up 12.5%.
$40 seconds till new 15s. I just filled one on 640 on NQ there into target. Watching to see if we can get one more leg on ES, but we have potential pullback on NQ if the 640 liquidity holds. This is target PVC value from our whole.
Fed's Waller says could reduce Fed's balance sheet by $300 to $500 billion.
This is our full POC shift that we just did on NQ off of the flip, right? Push up. I'm watching to see if we can find our bid here on ES. For this rotation up for the same movement that we just got on NQ. I mean, I'm pretty. This trade made sense to me. Again, we had the trap liquidity below our 30-second opening range. Our POC shift happened, and then we found our bid back above PVC value low, as well as our 30-second opening range, giving us our bid, and then our rotation back up to the shift. Right? It's pretty standard. Now that we've found this seller once again, we're watching to see if we can find buy-side liquidity here to follow the same pathing that NQ just did, but on ES, right? So watch as Russell comes into VWAP here, and ES comes down into our POC shift, filling this LVN, and then let's look for a bid to step over, and then try to rotate us up into these highs if it's going to do it, right?
Fed's Waller says have not spoken to Walsh about policy.
Let's see how they interact with us here.
Waller says it's crazy given recent data to be talking about rate cuts in the near future.
Coming into target here on ES and RTY. Let's see if this bid happens or if we have one more leg down. The only thing that we care about, again, is just can we maintain these buyers here at our POC shift. This is basically a risk, and we're watching to see if we can then see secondary step over this with Russell holding and finding a bid here at VWAP. And this is just NQ coming back down into our POC of our previous candle from the bid at the same time. So let's see what they do. This is where we'd want to see them participate. Hopefully that makes sense.
Waller says recent labour and inflation data turned me on rate bias.
I mean, there's a secondary bid that can happen here into our highs, right? But that's just the POC, right? That's all we did. Now let's see if we find our secondary buyers up here, or if NQ rejects our 640 once again, giving you another exit based off of the same POC from the previous 15. Got to get over this 640, 660 for more. And now we watch to see if Russell can break downtrend and if ES can get over this 98, right? It's just a bid right now off of a pullback in our trend. Now we need to see if we can do something new. We're coming back up into the exact same selling. This is where buyers were absorbed last into 640, 660 on NQ, and we're seeing some, like slight absorption here on ES as well into this 95 to 500. Until we see acceptance outside of our 30-second opening range here on ES, right, it's just going to continue to just rotate.
So reminder, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we're expecting Trump comments as he swears in Fed Chair Walsh. We do have a video on the feed for those interested. It's also on the economic calendar as well.
Let's see if we get another strong bid off of RTY here into our edge. GameStop asked for the split to try to afford the eBay thing. The amount of shares that they need is insane.
Shares of PC makers jump after Lenovo's revenue tops estimates. HP up 14%, Dell up 14.7%.
I mean, I don't think they ever look dumb, personally, but oh yeah, no, I mean that was. I mean, if you knew anything about the deal, you knew that he was a complete idiot. New 15s have opened, opening into target on NQ. ES now attempting to hold our top edge here at our 30-second opening range high at our 98s. RTY was able to bounce our 30-second opening range and push back up to a PVZ value high here. Watching to see if we're able to get back into this, get above this guy, or if this is the end of the move now that we've gotten into target. Need to see Russell show a bit more interest here for anything more.
So according to CBS, Pakistani army chief, a key US-Iran mediator, is heading for Tehran. So again, according to CBS, a Pakistan army chief and a key US-Iran mediator are heading for Tehran.
hold so far. POC to value previous candle on NQ, pushing up into these wick highs at 660. ES pushing into our first target here off of our flip into 504, 506.
So again, we did see earlier reports from CBS saying Pakistan Foreign Ministry said that we are not aware of any visit to Iran planned by the army chief, but here we are seeing CBS again reporting that Pakistan Army Chief, a key US-Iran mediator, are heading to Tehran.
I mean, that sentence made zero sense.
US 2-year yield rises to 4.14%, the highest since February 2025.
I get filled on my first contract if we hit 504. Let's see if we can do it. Failed. Into target now here on NQ on ES. This is our POC shift as well as our PVZ value and our push into this liquidity here at 509 to 506. So a great secondary target if you didn't want to take off at 504. This is where we're watching, and we watch to see how our reaction is. I've taken off 2 of my 4 contracts now. 2 entries were given with NQ with our hold of our POC to value. Those are marked and highlighted with the yellow boxes. The yellow boxes as well on ES are just your pivots that we were talking about on ES, right? But those are your 2 boxes, both in the 15-minute and then the 30-second, so you can see them visualized for the higher lows, where we're looking for those bids to be present. I'm going to delete this now so that I can move my charts, now that we've gotten this full pathing. Let's see what we can do now. This is our 30-second opening range here that we're just watching to see if this can continue to maintain. We're playing off of these guys here, just adding to our position from these lows as we were pushing into this, looking for this 504, 510, and now we'll watch to see what we do into this. We can flag here and push above, hold this 506. I should be able to go for these highs, I would assume, but I've taken off most of my size. Got this BPOC still from yesterday that we have at, I don't know, 517, 520. This has been our upper target that we were looking for on NQ. So with us holding our value edge here, looks good. Down to at least head up into this. Just don't get baited by these looking for that exact level, right? Just want to be watching the sell side pressure into this. If we can flip it though, we'll use this as a really nice supportive ledge once we flip 720 for expansion potential. Just remember, like, you can look on footprint and see why we care about this area, right? Like, this is that stacked imbalance from our sell side this morning on ES into this 706, 710 area, which is why it was our target. We want to see us flip these areas. Same thing on ES, right? We want to flip this POC here, as well as this pivot here on ES for anything more, really. We start to show interest above this guy, that's when we are able to start expanding. Right above this. Until then, they can eat into it. We gotta wait for this idiot to stop selling as well. Back to day open for Russell, where we trapped last. this looks messy. I'm gonna change that. It's just the old box. I think if we flip 720, we go 760 pretty quick. But you know, I mean that's asking a lot already. But let's see what they do here as we push into these wick highs. Just need Russell to get its shit together, because if it doesn't and we don't maintain these lows, I'm not sure if we get anything else. So we'd really like to see the opening range hold, get back above, and then do this rotation again, back up into these highs. That would be ideal. New POCs, new 15 minutes, opening at POC of previous candle, watching to see if we can continue to maintain these as bids, just in this trend up that we're doing. So we push, right, watching these. Yeah. I just filled 508.50 following our plan in the TP that I posted above. I have one left. Watch our Russell oscillation completion here off of the hold of our lows. Again, just following our pathing. Now rotating back up to our highs. We could lose some momentum here as we push into this. For ES, I mean, we're really just watching to see how we interact as we push into this 506, 515. If we see this active buyer here at 505 to 508, we should be able to retest highs at least into 515 would be my assumption. But I mean, it's really going to be dependent on what we do, you know, our reaction right now. Right? Like either they take in here and then they fail to get us back up into these highs, or, you know, we'll just rotate back down to our entry, back down at like 495 would be my assumption. Right, like I'm just watching like these participants here. Right, like can we get back up into that upper box and then rotate through the upper box, or nah, I'm not sure. So that's why I've taken off most sides into that, just because I don't know. All we know is that that's where they were absorbing last, you know. We can see that they're absorbing into 700s. They've taken in like 330 contracts so far. But just watching as it pull back to a PVZ and our value edge. So we rotate back, see what we do. It's an expected idea, right, with Russell into our high, right? If we lose momentum there, then we have to do pullbacks across the market. Until Russell finds this higher low. And I think we probably just look for that higher low at like 64, 65 again. See if we find that bid. I sadly have to be right back. I know it's kind of bad timing. My last stop is just break even on this contract. We'll see what we do. We have an idea of what we're looking for. Just watch for the Russell higher low, and then let's see if we can get back into this upper distribution on ES at this 505, 506 for this rotation back up to our highs. If we can find that higher low, it should be viable. And then my upper target, if we flip 720s on NQ, would be 760. Just watch your push back down into our buying demand that we have below us based off of PVZ. Be right back. Holy. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pee so badly. Good hold on our Russell higher low there, exactly where we wanted it. NQ finding interaction so far, absorbing into that 80. Let's see if we can continue to hold there and find a secondary bid. That'd be ideal. Yes, no change. Just bounce POC following our pathing. Looks good. Let's see if we can flip this for that rotation like we just talked about. Again, that like 505, 506 hold that we just did is really important for this rotation back up, following what I posted in chat. Right, this is them really trying to put us back into that distribution.
ECB's Muller sees good case for June hike on energy surge.
Right, that's this. I know all my boxes are moving, but I just wanted to post this for those that aren't in Discord. We're just rotating now through this structure now that we held this edge, and we're just going to be rotating into these highs now that we found that responsive buyer here. That's the idea, at least. And that is why we've saved one runner for that idea as we push up. Good hold, value to POC, previous candle, good bid on our, very clear buying candle. Just good rotation, halfway back hold, continuation up. For NQ and ES, just really nice bids. Buyers still showing clear interest, We've now flipped our POC shift as back to our main POC on the day. So what does that mean? What am I talking about? I'm using a lot of words. What do these words mean? Well, look at what we were watching. This is how we developed our targets on the day, right? This is what we were watching. We were watching this shift of our POC to these lows, right? So this is our daily POC, but the developing version of it. So we can see where most of our buying occurred on the day. It's going to shift with our nodes as we build them out on the day, right? So when we see our POC from this morning, which was here, right, shift down to here, what does that mean? What are we looking for? When our POC shifts to this low from this high, what does that actually mean? Well, it's a shift in our participation, right? Where interest is, right? If 70% of our volume is now down here into this lower node from this upper node, and we've created two nodes on the day, and we have this LVN in the middle, right? I'm now watching for interactions where we're either going to be holding this, and this is sell side coming down to show like, hey, we're now moving down our interest from up here to here, right? And we're going to then continue downwards on our merry way. That's either what's going to happen, where we're shifting our structure down from this upper node down to this lower node, and then we'll get continuation, right? That's a hold of our POC shift as resistance after it develops out, right? Or a hold of this lower node, and then a clear offer into our tail. Or what's the opposite that could happen? Well, if our POC shifts down here and we start to show interest above, right? Well, that's a good sign that buyers are now willing to buy down here, right? And these sellers have failed, and that we are going to rotate back up to our previous auction, right? Where this POC was before, where 70% of the volume traded on the day. So that becomes our target for our long, which is what it was for us, right? So now we've done that rotation where we've seen our developing POC shift on the day, we've filled the LVN, and we've rotated back up into our upper auction, right? That's what we just did, is the failure to shift below, the sustain above, and then the rotation back to what was value this morning. And now we're just in this auction on this node, right? And this is what I'm talking about, is like this hold of that 505, 506. We're now just in this upper auction.
The CBOE volatility index hits more than a 2-week low, last down 0.2%.
Of our 505, 506 is just the hold of this node here, and our rotation up into this tail here, right? That 516, just like we talked about, right? It's just a recovery of this upper auction, and then the rotation through said auction. Does that make sense? Of how we can like visualize that? Yeah, right? Like again, it's nothing crazy, but as soon as we start to see, right, stuff like this on our profile with that idea on our volume profile, and then we see our deltas as well, giving us that idea of like, hey, this is where our selling and our buyers are incurring, and we have a reason to be looking for a trade here. We're seeing that absorption here. We're seeing buyers care about this area. It's like, oh, okay, well then we're going to rotate back up into this upper structure. And then look what we just did, right? Our 505 held, buyers show that interest, and we rotate back up into our highs, right? And it's just a push into this tail. So I just like, that's when I talk about the POC shift, that's what I'm referring to. Is like we're getting a node shift, right? An interest shift on the day from our upper auction to now a lower auction, and we're now watching to see if that lower auction is going to maintain as resistance, right? So if, say, this node failed to show as supportive, we would be watching for this POC shift to hold, right? Hold this edge for this rotation down. Instead, we get the opposite, and then we rotate through. Just our POC migrated, right? Interest migrated, and that gave us a really strong signal of our trend change from this downtrend to our uptrend to our rotation to our flip. And then these same participants who were here before are now trying again, right? On the same POC. And that's how we got that bid. Okay, just want to like clear that up if that wasn't obvious already. Now let's see what we do with it. Russell into our highs. NQ still showing no interest over our 20s. They're making a new boys show, Vought Uprising. It looks like it's like historical. No, I haven't watched the finale yet. I was waiting for the season to end so I could watch it. Because the season was useless. A waste of my time. Nothing happened. And I was like, okay, well, there's 2 episodes left. I'm going to wait. I don't know how they were planning on... I mean, we'll see, but they did nothing for the entire season. So there's a lot they have to do in these last 2 episodes. Yeah, the finale was I think this week or last week. I believe. Yeah, I mean, this last season was bad. Like, it had some funny moments, but, like, it just didn't... Nothing happened, man. Like, nothing. Why do shows do this? Because they don't know how to end it. They don't know where to go with it. Shows are really good in the beginning when they're following source material, and then they get worse and worse as the writers have to make decisions. Right? It's the same thing with Game of Thrones. They had great source material, and then they use the source material, and then they get ahead of it, and then they have to figure out new plot lines. Brother, out to get you. The longer we sit up here, the more likely we'll have a look below and giving you a better entry anyways, Surf. But let's just throw a volume profile on that for the meantime. Right, because right now we have this setting up, this liquidity above trapped, and then we have this liquidity below. And we're just going to keep an eye on which way this goes. I personally think that we'll probably have to come down into this here. If we don't see a reaction relatively soon. Right, that would give us our move into here for the dip liquidity. With this lower high, so this liquidity is trapped, we get our offer, step down, and then they rotate us into this, and then maybe we go from there, something like that. I don't know. Yes, and RTY still look fine. They look great, holding where we need, but NQ looking a little weaker. Just the lack of structure that we've built and the lack of desire at our highs, but nothing's invalidated. Still uptrend, still higher lows, still everything holding where it needs to. Watching Russell into our top of our range to see if it'll break out. If it does, then ES gets another leg. If it fails here, then we might need one more rotation down, giving us you know, a nice re-entry if this continues to fail into these highs. We shall see. Good flip though so far of what we were talking about on ES. I'm glad you did better, Jason. Are you only looking at 100 because it's live? What's the reason for the only looking for 100? Okay. So you're just trying to sustain, get what you need.
According to
pay
Al
off.
Hadaf sources, Pakistan Army Chief Manur arrived in Tehran. So again, according to Al Hadaf sources, Pakistani Army Chief Manur arrived in Tehran.
Yeah, no, totally. I got you. Dude, Apex just switched to a live model as well, where they're moving people to live. You only get $3,000 in drawdown starting off of the 20 accounts that you have. That's crazy. So if you have 20 evals, they move it to one singular account with just 3K drawdown. What the fuck? What the hell? I do not understand people who fuck with Apex. I just don't get it. How are they like still popular? I don't understand. That's so interesting, Adam. I was done talking about Apex as soon as Surf was forced to record him sitting in a chair trading for him to get his payout. that was the end of it for me. Like, what does that prove, bro? Like, what are we talking about? Why do we have to record the back of his head for him to get his payout? You're just holding his 40K. That was the end of it for me. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're just making excuses, trying to see if there's anything you can do to not pay this man. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I don't know. I would be as well. Tradeify right now. Tradeify seems to be still good. I think your best ones right now are Tradeify and what's the one with the L? Lucid, yeah, Lucid. They seem like decent people. Good structure as well. I think MyFundedTraders is good, but they're just kind of low key, you know. Like, they don't really try to go out of their way to advertise. They don't really try to have like crazy influence. But I think that their overall accounts are pretty competitive still with Tradeify and Lucid. Oh, I forgot about TPT. Yeah, they're good as well. They all basically have the same model at this point. They're competing. And then you have like the old dogs, Apex and Top Step, who are just like, what are we doing? I've never seen people like Top Step and Apex gave up so much of their market share just by being boomers for no reason. Like, all they had to do was...
So the wash signing event has now started. Reminder, the video is on the feed for those interested.
And none of these other prop firms would have had the light of day. But they were like, nah, you know what? Let's stop. Let's be a little bit worse, actually. I know we're the most popular right now, but what if we were just a bit worse? Let's start changing rules.
So Trump now speaking.
Live trail is insane. Yeah, I don't understand. Any sort of like live trailing drawdown is crazy to me. Like, you know what they're doing, right? Like, there's no benefit to the trader for that. You're not learning anything. All that's like doing is making you a more stressed out and emotional trader, because now you have to worry about this thing that doesn't exist. And it's just awful. Yeah, I think that's definitely the end of day. Much better. Let's see what we do here, boys, as we come down into our NQ dip. Russell testing highs. Capped payouts. Yeah, I think it's because they do the cap payouts because people are just doing like mass accounts with copy trading, and so that's they would rather give payouts based off of like you having 5 or 10 accounts, and then you know, buying multiple accounts than just trying to trade one singular, which also is kind of annoying. But you know, it has to be within their structure. Like, I mean, I get why they do it, but it is frustrating. All right, let's see if they can eat into this void that we have here on this candle. I really want to see if we can find this dip. Because if we don't find our dip here, we're going to have to rotate back down to like 630 on NQ. And again, this is just a lack of desire. We're just curling over because of that. Watching our POC shift here on ES as well as we push down into this. This makes sense from just the lack of desire at our highs rotating back through. Again, just let's watch to see as we push down into this what we do. With Russell testing high edge, showing no weakness yet, but NQ and ES pulling back to our last known buyers. Let's see how they interact into our edge. If we can find some participants here into 660, 640, that'd be ideal. Later, Basil. Offer sitting 685, 690, trying to get us back in. It's a good first little scalpy trade if you're playing off of that 660. Just took off one. Let's see if we can get back into this upper structure or if this fails here. I think we go for the full rotation back up to 94s, but we need to see a pretty clear bid here at our lower edge if we're going to get back in. Again, we're watching for our offer to be sitting here into that. RTY pushing highs, holding our pivot. Let's see if we can get this higher low bid here on NQ at 80 for that rotation up into our 95 to like 705. Just our value rotation here of this little distribution that we made.
Trump says Walsh is to lead the Fed starting today.
Okay.
Trump says want Kevin to be totally independent. And Trump tells Walsh, don't look at me, do your own thing. Trump said the Fed got removed from core mission. And Trump says Walsh will restore confidence in the Fed. Trump says Walsh understands when the economy is good, let it boom.
Let it boom.
And Trump says we have some debt we want to take care of. We'll
Just
grow
a
our way
little.
out of the debt.
Just a little debt. No big deal.
And Trump says want to stop inflation but not stop greatness. Trump says don't want to stop economic growth.
Just a little debt.
And Trump says economic growth doesn't mean inflation.
Just want to continue to see this buyer trying to show interest at this 80 edge for the hold of our.
And Trump says Walsh is to bring reform to the Fed.
For this rotation up to at least 95s. And then ideally we follow pathing and take out our highs, flip it for 720 and then 760. But right now we're just dealing with 80 to 95 from our 660 low. Just a little debt, kids.
Trump says Walsh will curtail Fed practice of forward guidance.
50 seconds to
And Trump just further saying the Walsh to act on forward guidance. And Trump says the stock market is up, that means they like Walsh. According to the FT, regional mediators travel to Tehran in a push for US-Iran deal.
China doesn't release public numbers. Ooh, I got stopped there off that failure. Let's see what happens here again into our lows.
Trump repeating the sentiment that Iran is dying to make a deal. It says we'll see what happens.
He says the same thing every day. Good hold of our lows so far, but again, got to get over this 90 to 700, and it just is what it is. It's where the offer sits right now. Back into our offer here at 90 to 700. RTY, great hold. Offer still willing to take in size here at 90. Here, this is what I have. I tried to average up. I had like the perfect entry. So it's a break-even trade for me. But now I'm just in at 90 on offer with a flip over 701 for bid. Just playing off of this 90 to 700 until we flip it. But once we do and we flip, I think we just watch that as supportive. I'm just trying to make up for the break even there. So it's already free here, just based off of playing off that 690 to 700. And then that allows me to then have some security. Right, so I take off 1 into 80 from playing off of 90, and now I have a 1-to-1. And now if we flip over my 700s, then I will flip long for the rotation to occur there. I'm basically just keeping track of this. So we've got this, right, we're trading in this right now. If we can start to bid these highs at our 690 700 from the flip, right, our hold here, and then we get this bid, we should be able to sustain that. But if not, right, like there's very clearly no interest above this yet, and so I can take off 1 into this low, right, for the 1-to-1, with the potential for us to come down into this first, and then we go. So I'm just playing off of that with me willing to get stopped out there just in case we don't get over this value. Yeah. I just have 1 contract left, and then I have 2 at 701, right? So I get stopped out, and I'd get filled 1 to start a position for our 690 hold, if it was going to maintain. I don't know. It's just like a weakness trade, looking for a new low off of another failure to show any interest above. It's like, okay, well, we'll probably look to take out this wick low and then maybe head into this and then go up from there. I don't know. Just keep an eye on Russell as we push into our edge here. Yes, I'm still long, but I'm just long from much lower, and I haven't wanted to average in yet. I'm still sitting on that 96 average from our 30-second opening range, while ES just chops sideways. This is one of those things where I usually don't mention these kind of trades because it's just a range rotation. So it's like, if I keep telling you that there's an offer at 690 700, then it's because there's an offer there, and it's like, okay, well, there's a bid here down at 660 to 640. So like that's our auction right now, between 660 to 40 and 690 700. So it's like you can either play your top edge or you can play your bottom edge, but until we breach either side, there's not really much to do. What we do know is that we're in an uptrend, and we're just pulling back. And because I lost my solid entry at 660, it's like, okay, well, I'll just play the other side until we flip it. I really thought we were going to be able to hold that 80. But Trump started talking, and then all liquidity just like thinned out, and just rotated right back down. Oh, for anyone tuning in right now, all these fucking arrows on stream probably make no sense. I should probably delete these.
So now, Warsh taking oath as Federal Reserve Chair.
I don't know if you guys want to watch that, but I'll put it in chat at least. I don't know what kind of volatility we should be expecting into it. I don't know. Again, I'm just looking for us to take out this low here. I don't know how quick it's going to be, but if you are playing off of the 90 or even the 80 here, right? We're just watching how we interact as we push down to 660, 640. Later, man.
So Fed's Chair Walsh, now delivering remarks, says ours is a time of great consequence.
You're just done trading? Ooh, nice. I'm gonna use my car as my tent. Alright. Is that really camping? I don't know, man. You lost me. I think it's just called sleeping in your car. What? I don't know, man. About to show me a sleeping bag in the back of a hatchback? That's crazy. A full-on mat? You're not camping, bud.
Fed's Chair Walsh says I'm not naive about the challenges we face. But does say that these years can bring unmatched prosperity.
If you're not wiping with leaves, man, I don't know if you're camping. New 15's opening here shortly. 5 seconds. Just rotating between our 660 and our 690. No change. Flat POCs across the board. Pretty gross.
Fed's Walsh says inflation can be lower and growth can be strong. And Fed's Chair Walsh says I will lead a reform-oriented Federal Reserve.
This is the first time I've been ahead of the news guy on stream. I get on Adderall and all of a sudden I'm ahead of the news. Feels good, man. There's our take out of our lows there. Let's see if we find a bid into the 660, 640, and this is your target as we push down if you did take that short. immediate bid off 660 a target after we took out that low. Rotation back up to 80 for 20 points. Let's see if we can get more here. Or if that's it.
Fox News earlier reported that as China tensions loom, the US has temporarily paused Taiwan weapon sales due to the Iran war, according to the acting Navy Secretary, again cited by Fox News.
Hello, everybody.
Yo.
Rory, you're not camping, man.
Mario, he's camping because he's gonna open the windows inside his
Oh.
car while he's in the woods. So he'll get a little fresh air.
Iran's ISNA reports that the
Yeah.
Pakistan army chief has arrived in Tehran as well.
Nothing like smelling that musty Florida swamp air to really get you going. Like you had some decent rotations in the morning. Kind of put the pause on the last hour, though, huh?
Yeah, as soon as the Kevin Warsh nonsense started. But that just
Lovely.
ended. So we'll see if we get some movement now. But basically just push back up to our highs, and now just kind of stagnation while we wait to see how far we need to pull back before we can go again.
Rory, I want you to know that I was fully on your side until you said you're bringing an air mattress. That was kind of like the level for me. Just want to let you know.
You expect him to lay in the trunk of his car without a mattress?
True.
Treasury Secretary Bessent, when asked if Fed's Chair Warsh would cut rates, says he'll do the right thing.
He's independent, but he'll do the right thing. No change in anything. Just watching to see if this buyer at 646.60 can continue to maintain and get us back up. With Russell holding our POC to VWAP off of RTA, our PVZ POC and our RTH VWAP, which is what we're bouncing right now. Pushing into our halfway back. Again, just into our 646.60 on NQ, trying to get back over our ETH high. So far failing. Offer trying to sustain here, but if they can get us back over, then we trap all this liquidity below, and then that might give us the rotation that we were looking for. Nothing has changed in anything that we talked about. If these guys fail, if this 646.60 continues to take in size from sellers, and we can't show any sort of desire to push above the 60s and bid, we will rotate back down to 600. So it is now or never really for me to see if buy side is going to be able to absorb here into the 640, 660 like we've been looking for, and then we can flip this flip and push over the 700 for that pop to 760, right? Like this is either going to sustain the higher low on our 15 minute and sustain here in bid, or we're going to revert back down to our 15-minute VWAP down at 580, 600 for the reversion trade off of the failure to take out highs and lack of desire to push higher on the day. That's kind of my thesis right now. So let's see what they do. Oh boy. Rory, I'm also camping this weekend. I was planning on opening my bedroom window.
Huge.
Get that fresh air in,
You make s'mores in the microwave.
Yeah, yep.
Rory, you didn't even tell us where you're going, man.
It's his garage.
Like, going to Miami. Concrete jungle.
Boy.
Juniper Springs.
20 seconds till new 15s. RTY full rotation from our pivot. NQ testing our 60s now off of our hold of our 40s.
I've actually heard about this, Rory.
I mean, personally,
Hell
I don't
no.
believe so, but I mean,
Hell no.
I don't think so. I think you're just living in a. Yeah. As soon as you're not in like a tent, you're kind of just in an RV. It's like amenities on wheels,
I feel like camping, if we're actually going into this, it has to be like your shelter and stuff needs to be like movable.
Yeah. I can see that.
You know, like
Yeah. That makes sense.
non-permanent.
Same as before, 60s is giving you your 80. This is where the offer sits into POC from our sell side here into 79.80. Watching to see if we can sustain above 60s now for this rotation up. We are opening above POC of our previous candle into our 640 to 660 like we talked about. We are watching to see if we can find the secondary bid from our area of interest that we were watching. Remember, this is what we were looking for, something like this. If we're going to go up, trapping this liquidity into our lows, getting back in, and then showing interest above where we took our short at that 690, 700. Yeah, right. You got your POC shift on ES, right? Sorry, I haven't really been paying attention to ES because I'm just long. But POC shifted from 504 to 511, 510, and that's your shift and rotation back up off of that failure to move down below. Watching to see if bid can sustain here into our 50 to 60, or if this is going to flip, fail, trap above, and then rotate down, making our 640 offer. Offer really trying to flip this. Retesting 50s now. This guy above 60 is pretty trapped. Watching our retest into him. They are taking their sweet time on this one. Holy. The Trump administration has opened up part of the Grand Canyon for oil and gas drilling. Huge.
That's crazy. Like all the boundary water stuff going on in Minnesota right now too.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to do copper mines on the side. I don't get, like, if you're going to have the like stance of we have to go into these other countries for like rare earth and natural resources, then like why are you even pushing drilling here? Like we should just be doing more, like why do both? You know, like either do the military and go like steal everything, or don't and destroy your own country. Like why are we doing both at the same time?
Well,
Neither of them are good options, but like both is the worst option. You know what I mean?
oh my god, get me out of here. looks like they proposed uranium mining as well in the Grand Canyon, which would be devastating for the watershed.
Yeah.
If we like can't do anything here and this offer holds and then we push below 40s, we're probably headed down to that reversion target instead. I was hoping for a bit of a stronger reaction. 640 is still a willing participant, but I mean the lack of desire on the upthrust from this is a little concerning, and the offer kind of just lowering. And now with these guys trapped over 60s, it's getting a little hairy. It makes me feel like this participant is going to get really punished here from this hold, and then we'll go for that 600 target into our 15-minute VWAP. But I won't be looking to take anything until we see this flip, or on the long side, or we come down to the 600 area. To me, we gotta watch this guy off of this failure here. As soon as we found him, now it's just like, okay, we gotta wait for this look above and hold, or we're just going to have this trap. Too slow. What's up, Allie? House Committee votes 48-1 to advance the Sunshine Protection Act, which would make daylight savings the time permanent. 40 bid still there, no change. Again, I just gotta wait and see what happens. We're too fucking slow. $30 seconds until new 15s. All we know is that there's a offer above, right, that has trapped these buyers here, and that we have a potential reversion trade back down to this bid here at 600 to 580 with this offer holding, right? We know that there's someone taking in at 640, but as soon as they pull, right, if they step out of the way, there's nothing really for us to do until we come back down to the buyers that got us up, in my opinion. But or if we can show interest over 700s over our value high, I'll consider looking upside again if we shift POCs. But I can't really do much else other than just watch to see how these guys at 640 continue to interact, or watch to see how if the 670 buyers are continue to remain offsides. Another rotation from 40 into our 60-70. Watching to see if they're going to continue to hold this or if we can get back in. Again, so it's a really tight range on NQ. Well, we're just transacting, barcoding, I should really say, between them. This 45 is where you're watching to see if we hold a higher low or not off of the another rejection at 60 to 70. Bid has to really try to defend this 47, 45 area, whatever you want to call it. This slowdown is nuts.
It's crawling.
So in 10 minutes time now, at the top of the hour, we see the release of the weekly Baker Hughes rig count numbers. Total rigs saw a prior of 551, oil rigs saw a prior of 415.
Did you see Microsoft cut their Claude subscription enterprise-wide?
No. Interesting.
They said it was unaffordable.
Well, Peru XY.
Another bid at R40, a rotation up to R60. Can we just like make a decision, please? It'd be nice. I'm not doing anything, Ali. I'm just waiting to see if we continue to absorb into the 60-70 area and then rotate below 40s for continuation down, or if we can flip above our 690-700 and then take out those highs for continuation up. It's just like it's 20-point range right now on NQ. We identified this buyer at 640 about 2 hours ago. He's still willing to hold here, which is interesting, but we've been able to do nothing with it higher. Yeah, I don't know. Market kind of died as soon as the Trump live stream went on, and now ever since it's just stagnant. So I've got to kind of have to wait for some movement to step back in, some speed. Or are you just going to play these edges over and over again and eventually get stopped, you know? Not a great environment until we choose a direction. I'd personally really like us to come down to here on NQ at this point with how we're interacting. But if we spend enough time where we are, POC will fully fledge out here on our daily profile. And then we can just look for the move over our value high once we've secured our POC shift here on NQ. And then we can just trade the expansion over value, outside of value, sorry. But like, again, if we just continue to chop here, I don't know. It just doesn't feel worth it. Risk-wise. Here, this will be a better way to visualize this. You see where we're trading right now on NQ on the 5. So what we're watching is if this now is going to hold, and if we're going to need to now.
So according to an Al Hadath source, a meeting bringing together the Pakistani army chief and the IRGC commander will take place tomorrow in Tehran.
Or if this POC can shift to the point where we're currently transacting, which is here at this 640, and then we can shift value.
So we're shortly expecting the weekly Baker Hughes rig count numbers. I'll be leading with the oil rigs.
For continuation higher. So we're just really watching this edge to see if this is going to hold or not. Because if we continue to show no interest and they continue to just stack up into these highs, it's like, okay, well, we're probably going to head back down to this area. But we have to be aware that, like, they're buying here because this is where we got that initial big push over this liquidity here. So it makes sense that they're trying. But if we continue to just take in size into these highs, then that's the same thing that I'm showing here, which is just like a no desire to push above this will lead to a further rotation down. I don't know if that's going to be just like coming down into here and then going, or what's going to happen, but we need a decision to be made. Right, that's that 640 buyer is still present, but can we do something with it? This is where I'm interested. right? Like this is where we're currently trading. Show me interest over 700, 720.
Total rigs 558, oil rigs 425. So that's an increase of 10 oil rigs online at Baker Hughes last week.
Back to our 690-700 where we took our short off the flip. Again, I just want to see interest over this, or it's just the same shit again. Our 40 buyers still present, right? Push us up. We were able to pop that participant who was trading at 660, 670. We were able to squeeze back up to this 90. Let's see if we can do something with it. Again, we'll have a great trade if we can flip this and show interest above. If not, then we're just going to stagnate here again, and it's not going to be really worth your time.
I sell backfill on 10 on ES. See if it does anything.
Like, really? Just full on stagnation at our highs.
Yeah, it's like we turned the liquidity off.
That's why it's like I just want to wait to see what we do up here. It's just a rotation from our lows, and again, that buyer that we identified at 640, and now let's see if we can flip. But I mean, I'd like some speed. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm hoping that this like 10 to 12 area continues to maintain on ES. That'd be ideal, and then we can bid off of it. But I'm debating if I want to move my average up. I was thinking about adding one here, but if we stall out, then it's just going to fully rotate back down to 504, right? Like, it's hard. I still have this long from 96 on. It's just I haven't had an opportunity to add that I felt comfortable in yet on ES. This is the first area where it's like, maybe. But like the stalling is just not it. This is what I'm watching on ES. How do I do this? Right, it's like, can we sustain here at the highs? That's the problem, is we're trading within this box, right? But what we want to see is the bid really kind of maintain here and continue to try to push from this. Because if not, then we're just going to rotate right back down. So if we can see like an active bid kind of like really step up there, great. If not, then no change. Let's see if we can get this flip above these guys. Showed the desire here. It's just so inactionable as of right now. There's a giveaway in the Discord for a Lucid account. Just have to click the button to enter. Looks like it expires May 25th.
Wall Street Journal, citing sources, says Russia and China invested in electronics eavesdropping to spy on the US military sites in Florida.
Dude, imagine you see Trump, your father, go to every UFC game and golf every weekend, and then he posts that he can't make it to your son's engagement, and makes the excuse that duty prevails over personal travel. After going to every UFC event for the last 3 weeks and going golfing every weekend. It's rough, man. That is rough. Oh, sick. Yeah, I mean, I tried to keep it kind of in line with what I thought you might like, based off of what I was seeing you listening to. I didn't really include any like Midwest emo or like hardcore, but more melodic crap, you know. Full rotation from our failure at our
Tasnim News, citing Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, says we cannot necessarily say that we have reached a point where an agreement is close. So again, Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson saying we cannot necessarily say that we have reached a point where an agreement is close.
This auction's a joke, brother. This is why I didn't want to participate until we flip a side. It's so stupid. Where did you send me? Oh, in ass. Got it. Okay, can we do something? I'm very curious to see what we do now that we have this trapped liquidity above, right, on both, back into our old highs. Where
Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson says the delegation from Qatar is currently holding talks with Iran's foreign minister, but the Pakistani side remains the mediator in the negotiations.
Again, we just came back down to our buyer on both of these, NQ and ES, into our 40. But now that we have this lower high that we can potentially put in for the same idea, it's the same rotation we played. You know, this is the original short from 690, 700. But now we are retesting this as a structural breach, right? So do we get back in, or does this lower offer and rotate? I don't have an answer for you yet. We'll find out shortly, I would assume. But this hold here again at our 40s, showing us desire and the willingness to basically fill, right, from that sweep down is interesting. Another hold of our lows, right? So let's see if they can actually do something with this now. Again, very curious to see what sell side does on this retest on both ES and on NQ. If this lower offer holds, right, like that is interesting, because then we have all that liquidity above 700s. That's our 690, 700. That's a bit trapped.
It returned, sorry.
You're good. We just immediately did the full range in one candle.
Lovely.
Off of news. It's just so thin and slow that you get those reactions at our two participants that we've talked about today. And everything else is ass. Oh, you liked XCOM. Hell yeah. Yeah, you'll like their stuff. AJJ, Andrew Jackson Jihad, it's folk punk. They're incredible though, but it's not for everyone. But I threw it in there because I thought you might enjoy. They're very lyrical, good stuff, but definitely not for everybody. They're one of my favorite bands in early college. You do not like modern baseball. Noted.
Holy.
The band Modern Baseball. It's a Midwestern emo. Makes sense. Are they gonna flip us? Holy. Bro.
Liquidity on 20. Oh. Taken.
Okay, let's see if we get the flip over 20s on NQ. This is what we're watching for. I didn't get a secondary entry on ES. I haven't been comfortable in any of this yet.
Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson says the differences between Iran and the US are deep and significant.
True. This is super important though, because this is our first little look outside of value since the last, with POC now holding us supportive like we were talking about earlier. So this could be really good for us. I just need to see follow through, so it's not just news driven. Good hold so far. Tempting to See if we can get this bid to flip and hold here at this 14 to 10. Same thing here at our 20s on NQ.
So sources to Sky News Arabia say Iran's delivery of uranium has been linked to the lifting of sanctions, and this will happen gradually. So Sky News Arabia saying negotiations in Tehran have reached an understanding on broad lines regarding the nuclear file.
Again, just really want to see this continued bid here now. Better Zeno.
Peace.
So we saw some weakness in oil and the US dollar, strength in the US indexes here. As again, Sky News Arabia reported that negotiations in Tehran have reached an understanding on the broad lines regarding the nuclear file.
Testing our 20s now on retest. This was our VPOC on NQ. We're trying to see if we can hold this rotation now, as well as our ADR high. Pretty important area for us to bid.
US Trade Representative Greer now says there's no immediate tariffs coming on semiconductors, but it's important to protect investments in US chip production.
Very big size on the bid that just got chunked through there around 17 on ES.
IRNA, citing Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, though, says details related to the nuclear issues are not being discussed at this time. So again, this is a contradictory report from IRNA now, citing Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson.
I'd love to see this POC to value hold. This 510, 515 on ES. I mean, it'd be nice. If not, like, GG's. Flip back in. Testing into our value of our previous candle here on NQ now, into 700, 690, where we took our shorts. Let's see if buy side flips it as we push back in. We need to see Russell stop selling, hopefully into this halfway back here. Find relief into our pivots. They're just gonna fucking fade this? Like, surely they bid it. Just like news after news.
Red, red, red.
US Trade Representative Greer says Trump's visit to China last week did not change the Trump administration's approach to semiconductor tariff probes.
Watching as we push into this. If we can get a pop off of that. Same thing here. Same thing here. Okay, well, I mean, if we're gonna continue this, I'm just gonna head out.
Yeah. I feel that.
Pops and then complete nothingness afterwards are not for me. Keeping an eye on Russell to see if we'll get the next move with our hold of our halfway back and NQ into POC of previous 15. And of course, ES just back to our consolidation from before, retesting our edge, right, rotating up. I just need to see like clear desire. Like it's cool that we're getting like a little rotation off of this, but we have all this liquidity above that we have to test into. So I want to see Russell really try to go for it, if it's going to do it. If there's just like the small bid and then no follow through though, it's whatever. My current long bias is just this 509 to 515 area for ES. If that can continue to maintain, like, okay, I'll stay in this trade, but if not, I'm out.
So IRNA, citing Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson, says we will not reach a conclusion if we try to delve into the details related to highly enriched uranium in Iran. So again, just to clarify the events that have just occurred, we initially had Sky News Arabia reporting that Iran's delivery of uranium has been linked to the lifting of sanctions and that Tehran has reached an understanding on the broad lines regarding the nuclear file. Then just minutes after, we heard from an Iran Foreign Ministry spokesperson with essentially the opposite take, again saying details related to the nuclear issue are not being discussed and they will not reach a conclusion if we try to delve into the details related to enriched uranium.
Fun. Yeah, it's back. Finding some size at the 17. We took on the way down. Value high.
Okay.
Everybody's taking the 3-day weekend into a 4-day weekend, it seems. Five seconds here until new 15s.
Okay. I mean,
It's over.
like, what are we doing, bud?
Where's this moon you were speaking of, XY? Just curious.
The Micron CEO sees the memory chip storage shortage even lasting beyond 2026. So to repeat that, Micron CEO sees the memory chip shortage lasting beyond 2026.
Another bounce off our 690-700 area on NQ, but lower high so far. Offers trying to push us down. Russell, same rotation, same everything. 15 to 509 for me still in play, but I don't know, man. All right, I'm out of here.
Enjoy your weekend.
You
I
as
don't know if
well.
this afternoon will be much better.
I don't know, but I'm not staying to find out. Hopefully, I mean, higher lows are still being put in, right? I just need to see acceptance
Mm-hmm.
outside of value. Like, it's just not occurring. And until we see like a very clear hold of it, it's just gonna feel like shit. Just adjusting some final levels.
A little bit better two-sided size here on ES at least. Well, just at this POC. No shifts really.
Okay. That should be good. All right. I will link this in chat if anyone actually wants it for the afternoon, but I'm sure you're going to get some better development. Peace. Have a good weekend. Later. Sorry it was a little boring, but good morning.
Goodbye, my friend.
Later, man.